most. Now, with thousands of powerful connections made worldwide and years of experience as his guide, Jamie offers this healing phenomenon to those who need it most. People searching for life direction and guidance, as well as those seeking answers and closure from family and friends that have passed. How does Jamie's mediumship work? Let him tell you. Listen carefully. Triangulation of communication. He says, each of us is like a radio tuner. We have the ability to tune into many different channels. Before I read someone, I tune into our loved one's channel and send out an invitation of communication with you. Our souls are like fingerprints in a way that each of us is unique. Our loved ones know our soul print. And by our invitation and their realization, they now create a triangle of communication. Jamie says, Jamie to them to you, and you to Jamie. They know that Jamie is on and are receptive and will sometimes come early to understand Jamie's rules and regulations and how most effectively to communicate. Now that we are all on the same channel, let's work together as a team. Let me introduce to you, to the world, to the universe, Mr. Jamie Clark. And here is the man and the guy, Jamie Clark.
Yeah, baby. Always great.
Unbelievable.
Heck yeah, Mag and I are teaming up today to have some fun. We're going to do some readings. And, it's kind of cool, but as you were sharing that intro, that there are a lot of times where loved ones from the other side will come to me, sometimes in the morning, a lot of times, sometimes once in a while the previous evening. And I always share with people going, well, don't you kind of find that interesting that I've never met you ever, yet your loved ones come to me. They know exactly who I am. It's that triangulation of communication. They know their loved one's intent, who's vibing with me. In this case, they're connected. And their loved one's like, oh, Jamie's got his big head on. Okay, good. He's lit up. Let's talk. And so they'll come in, and I've learned that a lot of times they'll have me choose something. Like in one particular case, it was a particular scent of a candle. And as I brought it out, I had it sitting there, and I said, hey, I just need to be potentially a validation, but I had a loved one coming through, and I gave the information. But they had me pick this exact candle, and they're like, that was their favorite scent. They used to light it all the time. Like, oh, great, because I didn't have a clue. But we had a number of scented candles. But for them to give me, the accuracy to go, that's either really good guesswork or something to it. Because for that candle to be sitting there before they even got there, going, right, I didn't just throw something there and says, we're doing it. It's here's the information and here's who's giving me that information. That makes it even more powerful to go, yep, that's apparently they did it. So I don't know how they're knowing who you are. And that's why I like to share. I want the empowerment of how I do things.
You know what? Let me throw this into anyone that's listening right now, and I can see the graph is going, zing. Call in. You want a free reading, you get it tarot or psychic or mediumship, depending upon which one you're actually interested in. Your question goes a long way. Your question to a psychic or a tarot reader maps out your reading customized for you. So dial 609 663 0153. Again, 609 663 0153.
Perfect. Hey, we're going to do that, but we're going to do the psychic aspect in the tarot. The mediumship we'll do it other times, just so we know. Because otherwise we can go in another direction. It can go on and on. Like, I want to be efficient, man.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
While you're doing it, and I don't think I've asked this to you before. Have you ever had someone, in your words, knock on the door during the day?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. But I remember one time out of a commercial that I played of you that you had said that sometimes when you pass people, you can feel that person or know of
Oh,
that person or be able to tune into that person that's just passing. I
yes,
mean, I
sir.
thought of somebody stealing each other's information off their cell phones by passing each other, but I don't know about psychic stuff. But
We
it's
can.
basically it's the same thing,
It is. It's through the soul phone instead of the cell phone.
right? Exactly.
Technology and spirituality.
Yeah, the reason why I'm asking that question, the main reason is because there are times, every once in a while, I always tell you guys that I go out for my walks in the morning. Of course, clear the mind, the whole thing, and then forget about it. All of the mods and everything else come out. But while I'm doing that, it's you start thinking about things you would not normally think of. Like in my case, I may think of someone that I met 40 years ago. All of a sudden, and I'll see their face right in front of me. And it's not like I'm going to talk to this person or anything else, but it's in my mind, I'm saying, oh, they want to contact me. Or maybe I wanted to contact them. I don't know which one is which, but
And what
that's
if it
happened
was
a few
both?
times. And I think I told you guys about the night that I went out, or the morning, early morning that I went out, that the pine trees moved as me and the dog passed the trees. And I was like, the dog's looking at me and I'm looking at him. I go, keep going.
I'm sure he didn't pee on the tree either.
And it was later that I found out from either you or someone else that your energy can actually, the trees talk.
Oh,
People
they're
didn't
alive.
realize that. In fact, the one person that plants trees all over the world, and that he was on my show, and he said, "What do you think? They don't listen?" And I said, "But I wasn't talking." He said, "But your brain was." And I was like,
Tuning
"Whoa,
in.
this is the guy that talks to trees too, so I'm not the only crazy around."
Well, and that's the thing. It's only like, yeah, sure, because I've had my own experience as well, which I've shared before, and that was it was Christmas time, and we had live trees, and the person that I was connected to got another live tree when I did, and I let her know, make sure you do the purified water. It's a great thing, and just energize it. And
Mhm.
so we had it for a number of days, and then as I was pouring some water in, all of a sudden in my mind sight, fing, this beam, this light orb thing goes from the tree I was watering, going through to the other tree that my friend had, and back to me with the information of she's not putting purified water in this container. And I'm like, okay, I'm not saying a word. Let's question her. I will write this down. I'm going to call her and find out. I called her. She's like, no, I'm not. I've been putting tap. That was huge. That was it's a beam, whatever the light thing is, and it was white for whatever reason from the tree. And wait a minute, they were already cut. They were already cut out of the earth, yet they still had consciousness working. And we always donated the trees, but it was an interesting dynamic that I hadn't had that before. And like I share, until you have your own experience, that secondhand's lovely, firsthand's real. And that's when I stand there and go, no, I'm sure I'm crazy. Okay, yeah, I'm going to stick to what I get because you're only
Mm.
a nut job till it's validated. And
Did
so
I
that's
send
that
you?
scientific.
Did I send you guys the picture of the orb going back and forth over the train track?
No, I would love for you to do that, please. Is that picture,
Find it.
video?
It's a real orb, and it's a picture of railroad tracks. And this orb goes from one woods over the train tracks and to the other woods.
Oh, wow.
I thought I
It's
sent it to you.
I don't believe I've seen that I'm recognizing, but interesting. But just this morning posted train tracks on that, going, "Oh,
Did
that's
you see my
interesting. You're
Did you see my
talking about
copy?
it." Yeah. So I'm like, see, and that's the connection is when you can get video, when you can do other things that in some way, if you want to, and you can study it, get some solid validation, then there's something to it. Because I think that a lot of these dynamics that have been, oh, okay, that's interesting, and all the spiritual woo woo is now more practical, more open, and more people are comfortable working with their natural abilities. Their psychic evolution is really empowering themselves because they can see other people, working with their abilities comfortably. So I'm saying, man, have fun with this. Be true to yourself. And to me, everyone's a psychic medium. If you got a soul, you're a psychic medium. It's, do you want to use it and what level do you want to take it to? And I am seeing a lot more people that are being activated now as adults going, but I'm getting all psychic, like, and I'm receiving stuff. And I'm like, well, good, because they don't even know how they're doing. I'm like, well, good, keep the same approach because it's working. So in those cases, they don't have a clue. So they don't, in this case, have a lot of parameters and try to limit it, because when you're doing that, you can analyze anything and talk yourself in or out of everything. But with that, that connection is they'll start working with their abilities on the interior and then start getting validation as they move along. And when it can do that, as I'm rambling, it'll get even stronger to be able to have a Solidex of references of energy reading. And so within that, the orb basically is, you can stop that and blow it up. And then sometimes there's a face in it. There's other things. And the great thing is that's a, train track going across. But yeah, somebody could do easily the CGI. Nope, this is real, firsthand experience. And then you'll have no choice but to go, wow, I don't know, this is my phone or my camera or whatever the case is, to go, okay, here we go. That gets real for a lot of people. And I'm seeing more of those circumstances where they're getting something on video or picture. And I've seen a couple that are impressive. One was a gentleman at a table, and there were some flowers that were around in the centerpiece. And there's this orb that comes into the picture of the video, and it's moving. And all of a sudden it goes by the flower, one of the flowers, and that flower physically moved. It physically flipped over. I thought, oh, that was impressive. And then it went back and came around and flipped it over again. And I thought, that ain't no dust particle. And that's the good thing is, when you can question everything, but get the solid validation that, in this case, apparently happened, whatever that light thing is, that some physical reaction, that flower flipped. That's when it gets a lot more solid and people function from that. Not so scary, but empowering, because it's in a light way, daytime, that kind of thing.
We've talked for a long time. Maggie, you've been with us for a short time. I mean, we were talking a long time ago.
Yeah.
And out of all the times that we've spoken, you notice how things have changed? I mean, radically changed. People's minds, people's questions, people's mindset, should I say, upon their own human beings, in a sense. I mean, I talk to people in there during the day, and I'll say, like, just like you did when I came on the show. How are you? How you doing? How was your day? Et cetera, et cetera. And I'll be the same way. And somebody will turn around and go, and it's one of those kind of things. And it's like, really? It must have been a happy time for you. And then all of a sudden, oh, they open up like books. This. And I said, how would you like to throw it all away? And they turn around and go, well, how do you throw all that stuff away? So I explained to them. I mean, I'm not a person who does anything spiritual, just about. I mean, I got the bowls, I got the things, I got drums, I got the whole nine yards. But in a sense, I see myself as more as the neutral between two parts, between the spiritual side and the human side that doesn't believe in the spiritual side. I try to explain to the part that doesn't believe in it, why they should. And it's pretty simple, really. It's like anything else in it. If you never swam and you're standing next to a pool, and I told you, sit down in the pool and put your legs in, would you?
Depends. Yeah.
Come on, Maggie.
If I knew you.
You think it's
Yes.
bathing suits. But I'm serious. I mean, that's like you're getting your feet wet in a subject that is really the direction that everybody should be going in, so that we'd all be better off. But you got this split. You really, really do, and it's just like it's like so they got a cement wall in the middle of their brain someplace. The right doesn't know what the left's doing. I'm serious. It's the same thing. Yeah. Maggie, what do you think?
I think it would depend if there's sharks in the water or not.
She talks.
You know,
Yeah.
and really people will jump in if they're not afraid, right? But if the fear hits them, if they're afraid of the unknown, and that's like spirituality in and of itself, why people don't explore it because they don't either understand it or they might
Or
fear
has to
it
be all or nothing.
yeah, all or nothing. So I would be jumping in. Absolutely. I put my feet in and I'd be like, oh, that looks inviting, you know. But also in a pool, you can see the bottom. If it's a lake, you can't see the bottom. And if it's an ocean and you watch Jaws, you'll be like Jamie and you'll run away.
Even in the pool. Yeah.
You
However,
ran-
just like you're saying, yeah, Bob, that's the point. Not everyone wants to jump in. Some want to just dip their toe. Others might step stage at a time. Hey, wait, there's that first step.
It's
Yeah.
a
It's the
Get your
comfort to
toe wet.
integrate. Yes. You got
Actually,
what works for you. Yes.
yeah. I mean, there's, I don't know how many people could be, maybe even working from people I talk to in the morning, because I said to you, you were going to be on the show. And I said, we're going to be talking about some of the things that I talk to you about. And some of the things that I talk about, I don't talk about things that we're talking about because I went there with that intention. Someone will ask me a question, and that's it. You just opened up Pandora's box. Especially when they say, what if? A what if is a big one. Now we're talking quantum, section here. And it's like, whoa, man, like you really want to know? I mean, one girl, I actually turned around and I laughed. I mean, I was really laughing so hard. The woman says, you know, my life, this is internet radio. She goes, my life sucks. What do I do? Now, what would you answer somebody like that? It's okay. Sit. I'll tell you what you do. And it's interesting, there's so many people in that around, and it's not just one or two. Maybe it's just Florida. I don't know. Maybe it's the warm
Power
weather.
numbers.
You got it there. Yeah, could be. But it's the pressure of the last 18 months or 19 months, whatever it was. And you have all of that stuff coming to a head that people are on their edge, not because of what's going on, because 18 months ago they wouldn't have been. You know what I mean? It's like you take something that's a negative a long time ago and you go, "Fuck," and you do next.
And that became the part. If they had
Right.
enough time. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people who come to me that they started getting activated during this time. They're like,
Mhm.
I wasn't so distracted. I'm like, yes, exactly. So when they could do that, it was a little bit at a time and they'd watch TV or whatever the case is, and then they'd pick up information before it would happen. So then they were having fun with it and being able to refine it if they chose to.
We got somebody on the phone.
Awesome.
Yeah, Nisar. You know her, Nisar?
Sounds like a beautiful name.
Yeah.
How do you
Okay.
spell it?
Nisar. I have to bend over that to see the thing because it's over there.
Yeah, it sounds like Nisar.
Yeah.
Pardon
Nisar,
my.
are you there?
I want I wanted a reading from Jamie Clark.
Yeah. Jamie Clark is right here. He's going to say hi to you right now.
Yeah, and how you doing, Nisar? And Maggie as well. So do we have a target question? What can we help you with?
No, just a general reading.
Cool.
What in terms of what do you see?
One, I feel like your intuitive abilities are amping up. I feel like you're getting more sensitive to kind of pick up information, maybe a little bit more from people. You're also very intuitive, but a healer. Now, in addition, I hope you don't have to work at all, but I also pick up that if you haven't been offered an opportunity to either go into business or a work opportunity, then it is strongly coming up for you as a dynamic. Does not mean you have to choose it in any way. I just want to do the best I can to be a validation to go watch, because more than likely if it hasn't, it will. And then if anything, hopefully you don't have to work at all, but if not, and then you continue that, or if you have a job and you continue what you're doing, it's because you choose to, not because you have to, because now you've already been validated from another avenue. Have you been thinking about any other opportunities?
Yeah, I have. I've been applying everywhere.
Be open. I feel like you're going to more than likely get 2 responses fairly soon. Not just 1, 2.
Oh, that's good. And what about moving? Do you see anything about, because I'm trying to move, but do you see any moving out of or anywhere? I would love to move anywhere. Do you see that coming up?
I do. I would love to say today and this month, no. I do pick up a very, very strong potential that by the middle of next year, so like June, July, or sooner, it could certainly happen sooner. But do I feel like either you have a location in place that you're aware of to move, or that you will move by then?
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
Well, sure. Now, here's an interesting dynamic, just so it's potentially a little bit more validating. One, I feel like, that you can move, like whatever state you're in, you can move in that area. Two, I feel like there's going to be an opportunity that maybe somebody from another state is like, hey, Nisar, you know what? I've been seeing this place and I think it'd be perfect for you. If you want to check it out, let us know. It's an out of state connection, a potential move. So doesn't mean you have to do that, but I pick up two different dynamics. That way I wanted to say it so that it's potentially more validating. So we say it before it happens.
Now, Nassar, stay with us. We have another person that wants to talk to you.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Nassar. It's Maggie. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you, Maggie?
I'm doing very, very well. I threw down some cards for you, and I know Jamie, he does his thing. I do something completely different, but I just wanted to give you a couple messages. Are you open for that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. I do really want to reiterate what Jamie started off his reading with of your intuitive abilities opening up. Right now, there's a huge opening into much more expanded consciousness. And I feel like if you choose to open that up, if you make the conscious choice, it can come in a lot stronger and give you a little bit more clarity. Also, talking to people is going to help you understand your feelings, because right now you are opening up intuitively, but you're also opening up to a lot of feelings, and you'll work through your intuition through your feelings, of course. So if you choose that, and it has to be a choice, it's because that's what you want. But if you choose that, then you can really start opening up some great connections, great conversations, and really kind of move forward in that development if you choose to.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Maggie, so much.
You're welcome. You have a great day.
Well, there you go. And Sarah, if you have anyone else that wants to call the show, hurry up, get on the phone and tell them to call in.
Okay. Oh, thank you guys so much.
You are welcome.
There you go.
Same. A pleasure to talk with you, Nisar. It's a beautiful name.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya. And the great thing is we're having our modalities. It's whatever way works for you, whatever way you want to read energy, because Mag is doing the exact same thing I'm doing. She just has a different physical tool. My big head and soul is the tool. So it's that type that she's amazing because she has also done this long enough to where it is first nature to the essence of her being. I love the way that she can have these different cards and through other people. Nisar isn't even physically here and didn't even touch the cards. Yet Mag was able to pull those cards out with the conversation. So more than likely she targeted her soul print and was able to give her information that apparently could have been a little bit more validating. Like, holy cow, there's a lot of people. Not everyone is going for.
Go ahead.
I don't know how you feel like cards is something like magnificent. You pull everything out of thin air.
See.
That's the point. I got a free flow. She's got the ability to interpret vehicles of information, because I love to see that different people can be flipping the cards over and she's able to read uniquely for that person. Even if the person were to ever get that same ability card, it doesn't always mean the same in other people's life experiences, just like myself. Well, this feeling is information here. This is what I get in this moment at this time for this read. And then you can change it. Because, I say, really? You don't think you can change anything? Tell me you can't take your life now or now or now. And you've just changed it big time. So it's those. Yeah. So it's those times that they can work with it kind of like in the pool, dip their toe in it. And Mag has been doing this a long time so that she's comfortable. And being able to notice what she did in this case is ask for permission before she shared something. Because for me, if I'm in public, I do that. For the show, they're calling in, so we already have permission. permission, basically. But in that, if I'm given information, like I've shared the movie theater one, I turned around to the ladies and I said, "Hi, ladies, I know I don't know you, but may I say something to you?" And we're like, "Sure." Bip, just got the information, just got the invitation, and they were open enough to literally break down and cry from the validation. Joe Schmo is in front of them at the movie theater. You never know who you might be talking with. Anyhow, within that, I love that because when they broke down crying, they realized how connected their loved one was to them. I was just listening. That was it. I'm standing in line, and on my big head of consciousness, do I get a knock? And so when that happens, I also have parameters of potential and important aspects, meaning I've got an emergency button that if there's something major that I need to share with somebody or a loved one, circumstance, kind of like the movie theater, if you get my attention, all right, what you got? How can I be of service? Because otherwise, I'm not open to all the oddball things. I have my own parameters. I want to keep my energy clean and clear so I know my thoughts, and then when I'm receiving information about others' life experience.
Wow, and I would not. I was just thinking about this too when you were saying that. I wonder what he thinks about the rest of the world right now. But no, I'm not going to.
It's amazing, amazing. So much growth, fear and empowerment and growth and more love. People are allowing themselves. They're finding more of themselves. It's beautiful.
I was just going to say that because, I mean, I'm not a psychic. You know that.
Yes, you are.
But I do feel. No, I mean, it's not my job. You know what I mean? Put it that way. But I do feel. And we watch every day the media that's around us. And I mean, 3 o'clock in the morning, I see them all. I mean, it's not YouTube, all of them. It's like just go one at a time and see what they're all talking about. How would I know which way to go with a trend if I didn't know what the trend was? So you really
create your own.
If you don't know what you're doing, don't open your mouth. It's one of those kind of things. When we're talking about things like this, all I hear about is hate. Out of all those channels, all you hear about is hate this, hate that, hate the other thing, and that they're going to do this, they're going to do that. I mean, we do have a constitution that's already been used as toilet paper, and a bunch of other things that are going on right now, and that the people you see hate in all of this. But what I'm feeling is the reverse, like Jamie said. It's the reverse. It's the love part of it. For people love their dogs, their country, their jobs. They want to go back to jobs. Some of them went back to jobs, especially even not around here in Florida. I mean, Florida is probably just as open as Texas, just about. Right. Everybody is back. We're back.
Nice. It's normal. Not every mask. It's nice to see people not behind the mask all the time.
Exactly. When we smile at each other, we see each other. I mean, even in the place I'm in the morning, they had this big, glass window up so nobody could, touch, feel,
protection thing.
Whatever. I mean, if you wanted to shake somebody's hand, you had to go, wait a minute, I got to do my, whatever. That was taken down by the bosses in the place. I mean, everything is wide open. Yet, on the other hand, they keep telling you now, I don't know whether you guys listen to the news yet. Let me see. It's, what, 3:30 by you?
Yeah.
35, whatever.
So almost 3:33.
Yeah, you haven't heard it yet. But they're saying that everyone must start wearing masks again. They're also,
even if you have the shots?
Huh?
Even if you have the shots?
With or without.
Oh, interesting.
Children in schools, the same. With or without shots. They got to go back to school with masks on. Now, CDC, on the other hand, says, no, they're below a certain, level, you don't have to if they had the shots no. So now you got all these agencies that are fighting each other going on. But the biggest thing you do feel is the people that love themselves, their family, their dog, or whatever. It's weird. It really, really is. I mean, I've never been in that situation before. I don't know whether you have, but I mean, it's just weird. I mean, to talk to people from all kinds of different things. One guy I talked to the other day, and my car shows it because I was where the guy works, and it's got dried cement up one side of the car. It was like the whole place is like powder all over the place. So I got powder right up the side of the truck. Anyway, I talked to the man and he was talking about all the things that he wants to do: vacations, fishing, hunting, all this kind of stuff. The rest of the world was gone. Another one that I talked to, all the world was back. But more the ones that you talk to are the ones that are interested in getting off work, taking the day off, going shooting some pool, all this kind of stuff. Yet it's the opposite in the media. The media is telling you that 90% of it is the worry about it, scare, whatever.
It's all about presentation.
But this, I think, somehow or another, screws up the psyche part of it, the inside part of it, even the soul part of it, in a way. Have you hit anything like that where it's like a line going like this? It used to be like that. Now it's like this.
And that's the initiation. I'm seeing a lot of people being activated, and that's what's happening. It's a very intense energy. So they're trying to go from this into this. And it is a good thing because I'm seeing more, the intensified energy. So many people are being activated, and then it's becoming the power in numbers. But they're also starting to refine it and bring it into life experience so that it's not going to just like totally obliterate everything energy-wise.
So when I tell people times are going to get better, I'm not lying to anybody.
No, but there's going to be a while.
We are going into Aquarius, I believe.
Yeah, we're in the cusp. We're in the age of Aquarius. The cusp in an astrological age, they last for 2,000 years. So a cusp point could last for 100, 200 years. But if you look from 1950 and what all that we've accomplished in the change, in that amount of time, in that cusp time, we have another good 30 years before you get that 100-year cusp, to really, really switch it over to a new age. And with every new age, there's a death of an old age before the birth of the new age, or it happens simultaneously. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing people being fed up with the norm, fed up with power in the hands of the few over the many. We have everyone like peace and global family coming more to the surface, more of that love vibe, more of that connecting vibe as the age of Aquarius comes in. But we are still in that cusp. There's still things that have to shift and change for us to fully embrace Aquarian energy. It has brought in new technology, new inventions. It has brought in a ton of more consciousness to help with the expansion of consciousness of humanity. And that is part of the activations that Jamie's referring to as well, is there these cosmic influxes of energy that are here to wake us up. They're here to like, hey, jog up, come on, wake up, open your eyes, open your heart. And that's the biggest thing. If we're going to evolve as a species, if we're going to get out of this type of dreary lower vibe energy, it's got to shift. But it has to shift within each and every one of us first. Because if we can't hold the vibration of love, if we can't hold the vibration of an expanded conscious awareness, how are we supposed to expect the rest of the world to do that? It takes the individual and then the sharing of individuals that can do that to create the ripples that can spread out into the world, so that pebble becomes a boulder, becomes a avalanche, and then those ripples of that pond can go everywhere. And really, I talk to a lot of people about this because we underestimate the value of what you can do for yourself.
Right.
That is all about the whole. We, from the macrocosm to the microcosm, as above, so below, as within, so without, whatever we do that loves ourself, that we can grow ourselves and grow into our potential in a new consciousness, in a new age, from a new vantage point. If we focus on ourselves, it ripples out to the rest of the collective consciousness. But people undervalue themselves. I don't have that power. No one's going to be able to hear me, see me, feel me, because it's very much an internal journey. But when you go in, you go out, and the universe is within you, and you are within the universe. And so it's one of those things that we have to encourage people to really do their homework right now. Like really love themselves, heal. We are products of an old age. If you were born before the 21st century And well, I might be dating myself here, but we are products of this old age. We still have conditioning that is involved with patriarchy. It's involved with mass genocide and hatred and some lower vibration energies. And we grow up in a society that really, like you're talking about, the media just throws it out there. Here's more garbage for you to ingest. Here's more garbage for you to ingest. We're change internally to be able to see the external change as well. And that's an individual journey. Now we can do it together. We can support each other. We can be cheerleaders for each other. We can pick each other up from our bootstraps when we fall and set us back on the path. But ultimately, it takes, the individual loving themselves enough to go forward.
In the individual awakening, each person is in their own way, but it's also been people around the planet have been activated in their own way over the years. Then we start to get the kind of satellite unification because each person is in each country, each state type of thing. And as they start to connect, it ripples to everyone around them. So it literally becomes a balancing point of connection. All of the people around the world in a planetary way, all the energy vibes are now activating. They're creating a new frequency, a new channel. And now we're building it on enough with a big number. That's the tipping point. That's where we're at now, 51%. And of course, it's not challenging, but it became a dynamic of the world's been reset. Not a country against a country. It's a virus against the world. Beep. Make them reactive, break it down, and then go from there. But that's been a huge thing because that quietness has allowed a lot of people to awaken because they have not had so much life distraction that usually goes on. And when they can do that, and then they start realizing, oh, that's psychic? That's just a gut feeling. I'm like, right, exactly. It's that effortless. It's just a subtle connection. Do you want to connect with it? And then when they're realizing that, they're now getting back into the world that's kind of getting back in some way, a lot more empowered and sensitive. Now they're sensitive enough to where if they're not aware of some of the dynamics, they start picking up energy. And then they're like, oh, man, I'm sensitive and I'm aware of everyone else's energy. Yep. It's because, one, if you don't have safety techniques, you're going to get slammoed. Two, if you don't have an idea of who you are as you, then you're not going to know when you're picking up energy what's yours and what's other people's. And then it starts merging. And it's like, well, whatever. And then so that kind of becomes the dynamic that, we control our abilities don't control us. And with that connection, like I've seen people start awakening, and sometimes they're like, man, if that's all I'm going to see is the negative stuff, then I don't want to do this. Blump, blump, blump. They turn the volume down. That's the point. I'm seeing more people that are realizing, I did control that because I said I'd want to do it and I didn't do it. I'm like, right. Now you're starting to open up. You do want to do it. Let's see. And excuse me, and they start getting very accurate information because they're now opening up. But now they're also realizing that good and bad are happening at the same time. Reason why most of the time people will pick up on the negative, it's an erratic energy like that. So it tends to get your attention. The good stuff, as we perceive it, is consistent. So there's a big difference. People will start reading it and then they're like, well, okay, so now I was picking up that, but now I'm feeling enough of this love vibe and my own energy to where I can balance. Okay. And so they're now on that inner space astronaut journey, discovering who they are, which is everything, and becoming more empowered, not fearful. Because a lot of us are fearing losing ourselves to life, and we're now starting to find ourselves within it.
Another thing I'm finding now too, while you're on that kind of wave, people that are over, the where I live, it's a over 55 community. Whether closed communities and that we're not rich people but comfortable people live and that, but it's closed off. It's walled. The whole thing. The Chinese ain't going to jump over the wall, I don't think. But anyway. The thing that I hear from a lot of people that are there is like, I'd like to do something, but I don't know whether I could do this anymore or that anymore or whatever. And I always tell them, see, I got the eyes from Maggie right away. The thing is, people don't know what they're really geared for unless they really think about it, in a sense. They have to calm down, stop the energy going all over the place, and just think to themselves, what do I want to do? Think about yourself. I tell them that all the time. But what are you doing? Going to the papers? I said, look at all the things and everything else. I said, okay, well, you're thinking it's something that somebody put there for you to look at it, get their attention, and to see whether it resonates with you as you're reading it. So he goes, yeah, but I can't do this, so I don't look at that or this or that. I said, no, look at it all. Don't look at one piece. Look at it all. If you look at it all, you'll turn around and say, well, I can't do that, but boy, it sounds interesting. Give them a call. You never know that maybe what was written there wasn't exactly what they meant.
And
Advertising.
yeah, that's a big dynamic.
Yeah.
All about presentation.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I told this person, I said, why don't you call? And you know what? He works in a hotel, and all he does is greet people that are coming in and take people, just push the little cart to their rooms. That's it.
Nice.
He gets paid. He does his thing. He does his morning thing and everything else, and he's fine. He didn't want to do that because of what it said. What it said on the thing was, what do they call the people that collect your bags and that thing?
That would be bellmen. Bellmen are people who meet you in the car and then they take your bags in.
Yeah, that guy.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's what they're called.
Okay, well, whatever it was, whatever the term was, and that's what was on the ad. The guy's looking at this thing, is going, whoa, and he didn't realize how easy the job really was until he went and somebody explained it to him, and said, well, this is the job. And he said, hey, that's easy. I said, okay, now you keep on going to where you are, you'll be the manager. I mean, these are the people here, not here, but they are, but they're all manager people. Well, like me, I managed, I don't even know how many stores, but it was in the retail business, and then I was in the financial business in Manhattan for 20 years, and I was also.
How did you like that? Was that stressful, or how did that affect you?
See, there's a job that it's what you make it. You don't have to be on the edge of your chair. So many are, they're like, oh, well, if I don't get this thing here, if I don't get another percent over here, another, but, because you're working with Wall Street all the time, so that's even worse. But, they're going for their what they need, the percentage that they need, in sales or financial money that has to be spent and all this kind of stuff. I said, wait, let it go. I did very well all the time, and I did not go out of my way to do it. But I think my strong part was I used to be very, very good at going and speaking at meetings. I did Capital One when they started.
Cool.
Dang. Discover, Visa, and that in New York. Morgan, those guys. In fact, my brother-in-law is now a manager for them in New York. I mean, this is my background. I mean, the things that I did, I was dangerous. I really, really was. When the bubble hit in 2008, I mean, most of them were jumping out of windows. And I just turned around and said, oh, well. It was like
beautiful way to empower, man.
But I warned them for years and years and years. I said, you guys want all these numbers and you want all this money all over the place and everything else. I said, what you think, what you are, what you perceive yourself to be is like this giant capitalist, in what he was doing. I said, it's good in some way and it's bad in other ways. I said, think about who you're hurting while you're helping. And he said, no. I said, we got a lower, what's a bottom line? He said that we have to do, and that for headquarters. And I was like, okay, go ahead, you go ahead and do it if you want to. Well, boy, that guy broke down that day. And everything went. He freaked out. He wasn't in work for like 2 months.
That'll shock you. Yeah, exactly.
Me on the other hand, and then I said, oh well, I lost this, but I still got this, and I still had, things. As a matter of fact, Diane was, let me see, that was 2000. She was there. We're going 2005, 6 till today. And on the other hand, though, too, in 2008, even she turned around and said, oh, well, collect.
Yeah, that's powerful, but you're showing the empowerment of how that's happening because, it's no longer given the power to others or circumstances like, you make me happy or you make me angry. You don't make me anything. I make myself happy or angry in response to that. And that's why I'm like, that's brilliant because we all have our circumstances, but how are you viewing it? And notice you're simplifying it to go, well, I did the best I can, and I kept it positive and kind of did that, and it was fairly consistent. It kept happening. Why? Well, because you're tuning into that channel and it's playing. If you tune in, it'll play for you. It doesn't matter who you are. It's always playing. It's now that inner dialogue of what you're going to connect with, and you're doing it a lot more efficiently. You were able to do it, one, through presentation, knowing how to communicate and not just talk, getting people to understand that information, and the ability to know and have ideas to create other directions of opportunity. And so now you just kept perpetuating. I don't know, it just keeps happening. Oh, really? Now you're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't know, because I effortlessly accept it, that I'm trying to make it. I allow it. And you're doing it.
People all the time. The world is a stage, and you should be standing on the stage, and you should be the only one there. And they say, well, why do I want to do something like that? I said, because you are the world, the universe, and everything that's connected to it, all by yourself. Now, share it. And we're like,
but how many people can share it comfortably? If it's that kind of dynamic, a lot of it's freaky deaky. I'm not used to speaking. And they'll stay on the truth, which for me was the case. When I was younger, I would literally take a 0, a failure, rather than speak in front of the class. Literally, I was terrified. Now I do it all day long, and so it's that dynamic that life experience will change with different value points.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, even when I was talking and things, that I used to get bonuses that I really wondered where the heck they even came from, for that matter. And they said, wow, man, he said, you went over there and you really, really wowed them. All I did was tell them the truth. See? There's something that nobody does.
And you didn't limit how you were receiving it. I don't even have to know who it is. It's just there. Oh, really? So what did it keep happening? You didn't always know who it was, and it was still there.
Don't forget, too, I got 38 years of music. Toured all over the place. Was in every single state except Alaska.
Wow.
And I didn't want to go there, man. It was like we went to Greenland, and that was it, man. After that, there was no way I was going to Alaska. But after all those years, being on a stage and being the guy that was on stage and the only guy that was there and singing songs like My Way and things like that with the whole band, like nice and quiet. My voice like way out there, and like people just what are these guys? You do that long enough, and when you get in front of a bunch of people, it's kindergarten. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, boys, you're gonna listen to me, right? Yeah, I knew that. It was very, very easy, and like radio. I mean, it was Diane's idea. She found an ad in the paper, and like I play and everything else, and in fact, there's a keyboard right behind this wall. But we do those kind of things. And she said, well, why don't you take the radio station? And that's where you and I started, was Kinetic Hi-Fi, which is, I don't know what it is now. It's not what it was, believe me. Although my buddy from there is still here. So.
And look at what you've grown into. Each moment, you're just you doing you. But now you can look back at the growth and go, okay. Now that I'm here, I'm seeing where I've been and kind of why things did or didn't work out back then to get me to where I'm at now. Now it's like, okay, I understand that 2020 vision.
Just like anything else, even as you guys need to do your podcast now, you want people to listen. You want people to learn. That's my big thing. I want people to learn because there's things that we say that somebody will play it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth a million times so that they get what we said right. I mean, you ought to see what Diane does to YouTubes. They're like, ding, 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 ding. She listened to 5 minutes and it was an hour and a half long. But she only wants to hear certain parts. Now, even if people...
Now, does she know what she's surfing through? Is she able to do that? Or is she just blindly skipping?
A to Z, and then she'll take A, C, F, M. Right. One of those
See, make your own song, man. That's the point.
I'm a speed reader. She's a speed zapper on the net. So she does about 12 hours a day. So and then when I give her, a bunch of people, which I probably give her to tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow. I'm not doing anything tomorrow. I'm going to put my feet up in the air and do something, nothing, if I can. Maybe I'll take the motorcycle out. Yeah.
Yeah. And thanks, Diane, for doing what you do.
Yeah, she's good.
Fabulous.
She is good. But all these things and all these people that we talk to, and that they're becoming more and more the kind of people that even you guys would want to listen to. It's when we first began, it was like a lot of different people that were on, and we had a lot of different directions to the shows. And it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And the people, I'm not calling them anymore, and I'm not writing to them anymore. They're writing to me, just like people are writing to you. All over the ads that I have out for you and that today. I said, here's the number. Call you. Now, I don't know if it's gonna go in there right away or anything, but let me tell you something. This video will be all over Facebook and everything else tomorrow, and they'll probably flag me anyway. They do. They do, whenever they want to. Like we have, with the promo was on Blogspot. They don't like Blogspot, so I can't put it on Facebook. It goes ping, it goes red,
Wow.
out of there,
Okay.
just because they don't like it. And I wrote them a billion times, and they don't write back.
Right. That's the decision. You're done.
Yeah.
Whoa, man, that's scary.
Oh, hey, listen, they got all kinds of bills, and they're going to control these boys.
On a happier note, I think that it's been more of a
Okay.
a building,
Yeah.
but in seeing more people being activated in locations. Like it's very interesting that some areas, kind of like I shared, I'm from Ohio, and there's a lot of psychic mediums that are from Ohio that I've run into. And so it's interesting to see different locations or different states may have a more intensified or more people that are amplified. And so it's really cool because you start to see patterns of consciousness. And then you get that connection of the people's consciousness and then the life experiences that are happening. And it's a really cool aspect of validation and growth because it's a direct reference.
Right, Maggie?
Or something like that. Yeah, as I'm rambling. God, I feel like I'm just off into left field today. I've been thankfully very busy. I'm complete with the day, but woo!
One of those days, that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And
I go with it to the best I can.
Also, in that I put your website. That is all over the place too, and we got that out there. I want people to start trying to get into the not normal to them, the spiritual side of things a little bit more. And it doesn't mean like woohoo or calendars or candles and bowls and the whole 9 yards. Calendars could be. You don't know what I got on mine. But we have all these things that to more or less teach people to go in a different direction than what they're going in right now. And when you read, Maggie, when you read cards, don't you ever get the feeling in the cards that somebody is going in two directions at the same time?
Yeah, and there's certain cards that can indicate that you have more than one thing going on at the same time. Cards that are a little bit more erratic, cards that are a little bit more solid, depending on the number, element, all that good stuff. So, yeah, I mean, just really depends on the person. Honestly, I think a lot of people have more going on than they tune into. And the ones that do, yeah, I do. And the ones that do tune in to different frequencies, they get it. The ones that are asking questions to themselves, I think they get it. We have a super conscious, a conscious, and a subconscious mind all playing at the same time. So, that flow in between the levels of consciousness really, I mean, they get activated. But how aware are we of that? Most people are just aware of their conscious mind, maybe aware of their subconscious if they remember their dreams. Sometimes they're super conscious if they, get a message or, really are working on their intuition. But unifying the self through different levels, through different, I guess, a place of awareness, that's an art. I think that's the art of being, to be honest with you. I think it's an art of integrating the spiritual self with the everyday self, and the higher self with who you are here on the earth plane. And it's integrating, but it's through the awareness and through questioning. I think you had it right from the very beginning of the show. Like, when people are questioning, that's when we all get excited, because we know that people are waking up. We know that we've got them. Ask me questions. This is great. Sit down. I'll tell you how it is. And and we're not going to tell them anything they don't know. They know these things inside of themselves. They just haven't asked themselves those questions, and dug in deep for those answers.
See, now you know why so many people are walking around talking to themselves.
Mhm.
You know what? I tell you something. There was a woman yesterday morning that walked past where our home is, and that there's a road that goes right by it. And she, every single morning that she takes a walk and everything else, and that just goes out and just walks around the whole place. She came down the road. She was talking loud. Then I noticed the cell phone that she was talking to. So I walked outside and went like this to her. And she goes, "What?" Really, really loud, right? It's like, yeah, I'm serious. People are so wrapped up in that machine that a lot of them are losing their own identity.
And it's not easy to communicate. I see, more and more people. It's crazy, but I always say the very technology that's bringing the world together is separating us. Because here's what people are doing: is they stand in front of each other.
Yes.
I'm like, remember the communication old school? Yes. And that kind of a connection is, people have had such a life experience, especially over the past length of time, to get onto that surfing web. And they've gotten so desensitized by so much stimulation in different wherever they've been, that now it's like they're functioning from that channel, that frequency, and it's not easy to get back into life. And so, there's a lot of people that have also become a little less outgoing. They've become very kind of fearful. And so you'll see more and more people starting to open up in a good way.
Introvert, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Introvert. Everything is going into themselves.
Yeah, and not necessarily willing to share it or express it or that kind of thing. And that's when it's fine. That's perfect as long as you're good with it. But it's also when people go intro in that way that it's an aspect that it condenses. It gets to be a heavy energy. And if they don't understand some soul searching, a little bit of spiritual in any way, it can sometimes flip them the other way. They're wanting the good stuff, but they're fearing the stuff that they don't want. Yeah, it's like the oxymoron kind of thing.
Yeah, right. It's so crazy, Ned. I mean, whatever happened to? And I was telling this story to a bunch of people that today, that you show your age. I mean, seriously, you show your age when you start telling them stories. There was. I mean, I can remember the time that when I had a beeper, and I'd be driving down some highway somewhere, usually in the fast lane, and in the New York area, if you're in a fast lane and you get a traffic jam or somebody has an accident or something like that, forget about it. You'll be sitting in one place for 45 minutes or so. And the beeper kept going off. Call the office, call the office, call the office. Well, how did you call the office? It's not a phone. And the phone you had to use was a payphone. And the payphones are four lanes over, and you're bumper to bumper traffic. So how do you get over to you don't? One of those kind of things. But I still got the job done. Then a little bit later, and then I worked for a communication company, Cooperative Communications. It's in New Jersey. And they're also a subsidiary in a sense, kind of half-assed somehow to Bell, because we did the first test of DSL.
Oh, wow. Cool.
In the back of a cleaner, believe it or not. You know what a cleaner is, right? The place where you bring your shorts. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
With the bigger boss that says, "Bob, go out and get 6 Princess phones." I said, "You sure?" So okay. I went to Kmart, $6.88 a phone. Brought back 6 Princess phones. We took 6 Princess phones, plugged them into this block of 6 holes, and they took 2 wires, just 2 wires off the phone board that was in the back of this business. Okay, connected them. Now he says, call anybody you want to in the whole United States or the world. We were like, huh? Okay, we got on the phone. I called my sister, I called my mother, I called everybody, you know what I mean? Phone worked. That was DSL before you had it on a computer, before they gave out AOL CDs in the supermarket and stuff. We've got
Yes.
so much behind us that we did not need smartphones for. You know what I mean? What's with a
Yeah.
real phone? You know, a real phone. Talk to somebody. Put it on your ear. You know what I mean? And say,
Remember
"Hi, how
that
you doing?"
800-foot cord and it had its own room? It was like, yeah. But that was the point. People at times change in circumstances. Back in the day, it was exciting to get a phone call or somebody knocking on the door. Now, if they're doing it's like, what? Hide! It's a whole different vibe of connection.
Mhm.
So crazy circumstance, but it's allowing people to kind of get out of their house of protection and open up a little bit more at a time, dipping their toe in the pool kind of thing. But then being able to blend, like I'm sharing, that spiritual, that inner journey, and the physical day-to-day living. Because sometimes it can be very distracting if you're not able to balance. And so I'm seeing a lot of people who are flipping between realities. And it's funny, but talking to themselves, you do. I talk to myself and I get communication too, me, myself, and I. But it's also that self-realization that people are learning to stand in their own way within the world. And so they're now starting to find themselves within life and not so much losing themselves to it. And so to see a lot of the stress and frustration of trying to find, who we are and back into life, that now they've had enough time to have a little bit different perspective and are sitting in life a little bit more solidly and comfortably as they re-enter, as they get back into day-to-day living. So it's really nice to see people moving with it.
Maggie?
No, and
Oh,
honestly,
felt her thinking.
this is something I've really been like processing a lot lately is, my frustration with electronics when you're first learning the computers and programs and this and that, just once you rip your hair out, it takes so much for me to like get into the technological wave. I mean, really, it took every ounce of patience that I could even muster up to go there and to continue to learn with it. It's still, if something tests my patience, it's usually going to be electronic and it's going to involve my computer or my phone. But watching the younger generations grow up with this handheld device and their attention to it, their frustration of dealing with people to people contact is what we felt trying to learn technology. It's just reversing. It is so weird to watch because now, if you actually have a conversation with someone and you actually want to get someone on the phone, like it's like they don't know how to talk. They don't know what to talk about. They don't know how to deal with that type of communication. They're like, well, just text me. I don't check my voicemail. Just text me, and it's like, whoa, what happened to, hey, how you doing? Let's connect. Let's say hi to one another and then go forward. And it's just such a piece that's missing. But I realize the same frustration they're feeling of dealing with or having a conversation like that old school is the same frustration I felt trying to learn technology. They're just having it to reverse it a little bit. And so it really, I think that families right now and upbringings getting a balance point between that is going to be key for people to maintain that level of what might call humanity without just going straight to AI. Why even incarnate on Earth if you're not even going to talk to each other? It doesn't make any sense, if you're not even going to learn how to be in relationship. And, thank God we all still have hormones, or else, it wouldn't even matter if we came here. So, but I am seeing the same frustration of young people trying to learn how to deal, quote unquote, deal with normal interactions. It was it feels like the same frustration I had when I was learning the opposite. So, yeah.
We had it a long time ago, which was I still have it. In fact, I swear to God, I'm going to put it in the van. CBs.
Yeah.
CBs meeting.
Yep. Yep.
Yep, exactly. I mean, I'm serious. I mean, I love the things only because of the plain fact that I could, and I had sideband on mine. I could talk to Russia if I wanted to. I could talk
Yeah.
to anywhere I wanted to, and that on sideband. All of these places, all these people that you could discover. Okay, you can't do it on the computer. You can't just get on the computer and say, "Well, I want to talk to somebody in this thing here. What do you got?" That's not going to work. But on the CB, you could inadvertently come up with somebody that happens to be on the same page as you are. All right, they're 7,000 miles away on a skip. I mean, it works. It really, really does. I was on the George Washington Bridge one time talking to a guy that was in Canada, and we had such a great conversation for about 20 minutes
Awesome.
before we got cut off and things.
Nice.
And that was somebody that I never ever. In fact, he did at that time. He wrote me a note because I told him my address and everything else in the office, and he wrote a note to the thing and had great conversation and everything else. I never talked to anybody that far away. Blah blah blah, and it was going on. And I was like, wow, because the George Washington Bridge is like a giant antenna.
Wow.
If you happen to be on there, and I had a heater in the trunk. I wasn't 5 watts. I was 300 and something.
Wow.
At the same time. I mean, yeah, I was a nasty guy. I mean,
That's a connection.
my car was so weird. We had the CB in the front, and right next to it there was a monitor. Like I could monitor the police and the whole 9 yards. It was a scanner, but it was what they called. It was by Pace made it. It was a blackface. Blackface is when it's off. You can't see what it is. It's totally black. You can't see on, off, volume, or anything. That's all got lights that go behind it. So one time, because I had 3 antennas on the back of the car, I'll send you a picture of my car. You'll know why they pulled me over.
I want to see.
It looked like it was doing 2,000 miles an hour, even if I was doing 5. It was a 1972 Taurus Super Sport. Had a big yellow line down the side. It was all red with a black top on the thing. And it was, the stick. Oh, unbelievable. I mean, the Boss 351. I mean, forget about it. I could dust anything. So one time the police called me up and just for ID and everything else and that. And I said, well, why did you pick me up? He says, well, who's got 3 antennas on the back of their car? He said, let me see what you got in the car like that. And I said, well, go ahead, look. And you could see the CB, but the other one was black. He goes, what's that? I said, well, that just helps that one. Oh. I was like, you dope. I mean, if I turned the thing off, the lights go right across the front of the thing, right? He would have known I was listening to them. But
Smart.
no, I didn't turn it on or anything else. But I'm telling you, when we were kids, we had such a great time. You know what I mean? We didn't have a smartphone or anything else that to text and put down people or anything else. Or like somebody had texted me before. They said, the guys you have on the show are awesome. I mean, I get texts even when I'm on here. They know my telephone number.
Right. Sure. And I think that's an aspect where the kids are very stimulated. They are very attuned to these dynamics. So yeah, there's been such a filtration that they're so sensitized to the entire world through the web that, remember us when we didn't have computers, 4 walls and kick the can and be home when the lights are on. And so it's that simple way of living that in this case, it seems it is so complex that us old schoolers, it hasn't been easy to get into this. Mag's amazing. She's taught herself everything that she does. It's incredible. But a lot of these kids are just growing into it and then building, because there's a lot of them that are geniuses and they're coming up with great apps and all of that are not only effective, but it's going to make them some abundance. Some of the clients that I have are in that process. Like, wow.
I am going to do something like that. I was talking about it to somebody to start something like that in maybe the middle of September. It'll be a retrospect show. People can get on and tell me where you came from. These are people that are older people. They can tell us their history, where they came from, what they did when they were kids and everything else. The only way to teach the younger children is to let them know what the older people actually did. They have no clue. Like you said, yeah, that shows your age. You said stickball. Nobody plays ping pong. I have a pinky. Pinky. I think I still have the bat outside. It was an old. No, it wasn't a broom. It was a what do they call it? A mop.
Yeah.
The wooden mop and
The handle. Yep.
big water. They're bigger. But I mean, I'm serious. We used to do that. We had pea shooters. We used to have, like the kids in that today, they have the guns that shoot the paint.
Yep. With
Paint.
rubber band guns. Yep.
Oh man, forget about it. Hide and seek.
Yeah.
We take over 2 neighborhoods. 2 whole neighborhoods.
Nice.
And we started like one telephone pole, and then everybody would go hide. And that one person had to find one person at a time, and then one person became 2 people, became 3 people, became 4 people, and that's the way it went until we got everybody there. And like you said, when the light goes out, you're inside, and we could look down to. My mother had such a big mouth; she could be heard 3 blocks over.
Yep. You know that voice too. I got it. There I go.
Yeah, she used to call me Bobby. Okay? For some reason, from the middle of that word to the end of it, it used to go, and you're like, Bobby, 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 Bobby.
Through the corridors of your soul.
Yeah, she goes, Bobby. It was so, I mean, everybody on the block would like stop, just freeze.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't know what was going on. I mean, my mother was like the time clock. Everybody knew to go back home. But that was a time that, and I can say this quite honestly, our minds were in a different place. Totally. It was in with ourselves, with our friends, what we did. We did not sway from any particular idea or anything else. We took them all in. You got a good idea? What's your idea?
Be open, yes.
How do you think we got to the technology that we have today? Well, 35 years ago, 40 years ago, a bunch of kids had ideas. Ta-da! So now we're just like the guy said, Amazon dude. He says today, if I didn't have the idea that I had 35 years ago, we wouldn't be here. And he said it today. It's on the news. Amazon had it 35 years ago. He had the idea. Little bit of a thing, and now you start sending out stuff, little business. And the business is what it is today.
Yep.
It's from where we came from to where we are now that make us what we are. And on the other hand, we also have to think about where everyone is, period, today, and how to help
them for who they are. Yeah. And go from there. Yes.
So
Cool.
these shows do a lot of work.
Thank you for what you do. Make a difference.
You got
a library going, man. That's beautiful.
You're kidding? I mean, I tell people all the time, when I put these on Facebook, I say, you must watch.
Cool. It's always good to share, man.
Yeah.
Bobby, always good, sir. Time for other endeavors, man. We got to get going.
Oh, man. Are you kidding? Oh, unbelievable. Hey, listen, I want to remind everybody, on August 10th at 6 o'clock p.m. New York time, we're doing a Celebrate of Life show about Dr. Randall George Nozawa. We're going to have people from all over the place. I mean, people you've never heard of, people that we haven't heard of, and that are going to be there. And so far, it's like 70%. Deborah Nozawa will be there. She will tell us all about the doctor. You got to be there. We'll see you on August 10th. Meanwhile, keep calling 609-663-0153 every time a show is on, and we want to talk to you. You want to talk to us. Let's get together. God bless everyone. Good night.